This is definitely the most immersive horror movie from 14 years ago. Japanese blood, dirty human nature, fear with nowhere to hide. Presented in the 10th anniversary of The Grudge as 100 old women, the present is incisive. Hurry up and at your compound seed friends to watch it together. So here we go. A man was hanged in the woods outside the city, and the tote bag under his feet suddenly moved. Then black hair grew out of the bag. They're getting thicker. What is in this bag? And just as the uncle was hanging, delivery man Xiao Xiao. But he is rushing to the uncle's house to deliver the cake. This cake was ordered by the uncle last night. After Xiao Xiao arrives at the uncle's house, after ringing the doorbell for a long time, no one came to open the door. Xiao Xiao wanted to leave, but just then, the door opened without a sound. Xiao Xiao didn't think much of it. Lift your foot and go in. But as soon as you walk into this room, Xiao Xiao's scalp's a little numb. An empty hallway. Cold walls are really unpopular, so he quickly called for someone to get the cake. Half a day later, 5 minutes passed, and the woman didn't come out. 10 minutes went by. The woman still hasn't come out. Xiao Xiao can't wait. He immediately urged, my idol Holiscado, I also. No one. 30 years ago. This strange scene is really curious. Xiao Xiao quickly put down the cake. I want to go to the kitchen to see what this woman is doing. What? When he got to the kitchen, he found the refrigerator wide open. It's obviously a scene of cooking, but the woman disappeared. Just when Xiao Xiao was wondering, he heard the sound of running water. Sound is coming from the bathroom. Xiao Xiao Lai Feng possessed. Immediately went to the bathroom and turned off the faucet. When he looked up, I see it in the mirror. There's a figure in the shower curtain behind Xiao. Tore apart Yulian without thinking. But what catches my eye is a burnt one. A dark bathtub. Xiao Xiao looked incredulous. Does this family still have a hobby for fire jade? Just then, a little girl carrying a school bag walked outside the bathroom. Oops, Mom finally has a living person. Xiao Xiao immediately chased after you. That's it. But Aju ignored Xiao Xiao at all. Instead, he hurried into his room and closed the door. This makes Xiao Xiao a little angry. Takeout is all delivered home. Why didn't anyone sign for it? So he immediately pushed the door open and entered. But what caught my eye was Aju, bloody corpse. And here's what's even scarier. The body has no head, but as soon as he got to the door, his legs went weak. He slumped to the ground, and just then, the woman's voice rang out. Xiao Xiao hurried downstairs to tell the woman about it. Xiao? He was killed by the knife long ago, and Xiao was frightened to exit the kitchen just then. At the same time, Bai Wen takes his father's taxi to school, but when he got out of the car, he felt blood on his hand. The dirtiest Bai Mu quickly handed her daughter a tissue, wiped the blood off my hands. As for why there is blood on the seat cushion, Bai Mu was also puzzled. After the daughter left, Bermuda looked up in the mirror, only to find someone in the back seat. But Bai Mu turned to look. There was no one in the back seat, but with a tote bag. This tote bag? It was this morning that a man named Uncle's passenger carries it with him. The uncle had already taken the bag when he got out of the car. Bermuda was confused. He opened the bag, but there is a human head in it. Bai Mu's death is entirely to blame for her daughter, but the originator of everything. It was Aju's uncle. The uncle's house sees a haunted house. Although the outer wall of the haunted house, there is a cross hanging brightly, but the uncle thinks he is full of yang, and he's studying law with hardcore knowledge. It is impossible to kill him. So the family happily moved in. Little do they know that this house is the most vicious ghost in Japan. Zhang Xiong's family lived there. According to incomplete statistics, 17 people have died in this house. But after redecorating, the house doesn't show any signs of death at all. But the first day the uncle moved in, he saw a woman in the room. That's very rare. The uncle followed immediately, but women are like peekaboo. In the blink of an eye, no trace in the room that disappeared, but there is a cloth-covered full-length mirror. It should be left by the previous owner. Uncle wants to check if the mirror is intact. I got the cloth. Figure of the uncle immediately appeared in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror, like a dog. The uncle involuntarily stretched out his hand. Just when the uncle was in shock, Niece Pig came in. The way the uncle looked at Ah Pig suddenly becomes significant. After the two left, the uncle just looked like engraved in that mirror. After that, the uncle was like a different person. Start touching a pig. When Bai Wen came to play with Ah Pig. As soon as he entered the door, he felt a sense of dependence on home. Maybe right now, Grandma suddenly looked at Bai Wen. His eyes were full of warning. I was too scared to say anything more. But after Grandma left, Azu Keijiao tell Bai Wen the secret about the uncle Kurukuna did it. Oh, Stagging Akuna did. That he took her Kasantuka student. Do stare. He and I are you. Sonic, and didn't Aju want to say anything else. But the uncle suddenly came in. He was already standing at the door. I overheard a conversation, but the uncle was not flustered. Instead, he coldly rushed millions away. Ju knew that as soon as Bai Wen left, Uncle will definitely do something to him. He shook his head pleadingly. I hope Kevin can stay. But the uncle grabbed Bai Wen roughly. Throw him out. Then the uncle dragged Ju. Take him upstairs to the bedroom. My mom picks up. The granddaughter is being bullied, but Grandma is not only indifferent. Dressed up in the mirror, he put on a wig. Make yourself look more charming. He wants makeup like this to please her husband. and after Aju called for help, I was dragged upstairs by my uncle. He hurried to the window again, but Baiwen is just a child. There's nothing he can do. Thinking of what Aju is about to suffer is, but then the uncle drew the curtains. Baiwen could only run home crying. Afterwards, the uncle looked like an elegant scholar. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. And that whole family died. No one paid any attention to what Aju was going through. They're more concerned about the uncle's career. Uncle studied hard, day and night, a straight A student pose. But the slap in the face is, he failed the 4th penalty exam again. Father is very angry. You fuck of stepdaughter's arrogant taunting. Stepmother was unable to refute uncle's family of origin is really messy, and Aju's birth was even more unbearable. Mom gave birth to him when she was 16, but like a hen laying an egg, I was born without asking. So, even though Mom lives at home. But for Aju, it's better than nothing. The distortion of the family, the harshness of the family, confusion along the way, dirty inside, strange aura of the haunted house, are constantly eroding the spirit of the uncle. Finally, in a late night of review to collapse, the uncle picked up an iron rod, went to my father's bedroom. As soon as the stick went down, the old father had a brain hemorrhage, and the uncle came to his mother's room, when her mother dressed up strangely again, then hold a basketball, gently caressing his face, like this basket. Poverty is his changed husband. The uncle was annoyed when he saw this scene. He put the rope around his mother's neck. Then the uncle went to the kitchen. At this time, the little stepmother is taking advantage of the dead of night. A person hides here and smokes. It's cool to be on top. 1,000 lines of tears later. Stepmother in this complex family, I'm also tired. When he saw the uncle coming in, he quickly corrected his attitude. Ask him if he wants something to eat. He's going to do it. But the uncle took advantage of him to open the refrigerator. Just stab him to death. And the sister who doesn't know about venomous snakes. The uncle is even more resentful. If he treats Aju with dim sum, no matter how the devil in the uncle's heart roars, he didn't have a chance to get him out of the cage either. Everyone is retreating. No one is innocent. Uncle grabbed his sister who was staying up late chasing dramas and threw him to the ground. The intensity of the force directly made my sister spit blood. But then the uncle dragged his sister to the bathroom. The uncle ignored his sister's pleas. Take out a bucket of gasoline and hand it all in. After watching my sister rest in peace, the uncle went to the room of his nephew's daughter, Aju. Aju is already asleep. The uncle pulled him up, dragged to the bedside and perched again. Then take out the chainsaw and aim it at Ajuo's head. But the uncle put Aju's head in the handbag, taken away the next morning. The uncle mentioned the head I called for a car from Bermuda, going to the woods in the suburbs. I got it during the snow season when I sat in the back of the car. And at this time, Chow Chow, who delivered the cake. He was driving to his house with the cake ordered by the uncle, and the uncle arrived in the woods. He planned to hang himself. He put the rope behind his neck. Suddenly, there was a hesitation. But then Aju's voice came from the tote bag. I got it. Our game. Our game. Chow Chow arrived at his house after a series of horrific events. He fainted, but luckily I wasn't scared to death. When he woke up, Chow Chow ran to the police, but the police only care about people. Haunted. Chow Chow had no choice to go home. Girlfriend. TA is a gentle girl. He didn't just give Joe a Christmas present. I also specially prepared a cake. I want him to eat something sweet and forget the unpleasantness. Watching Qian Hui cut the cake with a knife, Chow Chow couldn't help but think of stabbing people with a knife. I'm afraid it's as silky as cutting a cake. Thinking of this, Chow Chow was disgusted by himself. He immediately rushed into the bathroom to vomit. Qian Hui was very distressed when she saw it. Hurry up and hug Chow Chow. Qian hugged Chow Chow. Suddenly realized Chie's body was stiff and cold. Pretty girlfriend suddenly turns into a white old woman. Chow Chow was so frightened that his liver and gallbladder burst. However, it is even more terrifying. Basketball popped out of the bathroom, but then a pale hand fishes the basketball back. Chow Chow is scared to pee. He quickly picked up the knife for cutting the cake. It was inserted into Old Man Bai's neck. Sad thing is, this knife appeared on Qian Hui's neck. Chie wants to pull the knife out, but it was so painful that he didn't dare to move at all. I'm afraid I won't live, so Chow Chow does not do one or two. If it is pushed down, it will start to kill people. First, look at the crazy boyfriend. Shed a line of tears of regret. He really shouldn't have prepared the cake. In the blink of an eye, 7 years have passed. Baiwen, who left Aju and ran away, already a big girl. But Aju's ghost has been haunting him. Aju is complaining. Why didn't I find a way to hate Baiwen back then? To save him. So he killed Baiwen's father, Bai Mu. Let Baiwen be like him, suffering from the long pain of childhood without bondage. He also flashed from time to time, deliberately scare Baiwen. I got it down. I think of Baiwen back then. Guilt and heartache, completely beyond the fear of ghosts. Maybe Aju sensed it all. She left silently. Leaving $1 million shows his forgiveness. Some are in dire straits. The whole family spared no effort to create. What do you expect a child to do? What's more, ghosts are just accessories of humans. It's also the starting point to fan the flames. As long as people go to a certain extent, then it's okay. So that's it for today. I am Xiao Pan. See you next time.